Right. Hello, Trev. Yes, mate. How are you? Okay, great. Yeah, that'll be lovely. Thank you. Well, a very good afternoon, a belated good afternoon, and welcome to New Road for the first taste of action we're going to get today on day 3 of this Specsavers Division 2 County Championship match between Worcestershire and the leaders Lancashire. Yesterday's play completely washed out, and we've had to wait till now, just approaching 10 past 2 in the afternoon on day 3, to get a resumption of the action. On day 1, it seems a long time ago now, Worcestershire were bowled out for 98 in just over 38 overs, with Jimmy Anderson and Graham Onions wreaking havoc. And now Worcestershire try and have to establish some kind of foothold back in the game. Just 98 runs on the board for them, and Lancashire now coming out to begin their first innings reply. With the weather set as it is for the rest of today and tomorrow in particular, a draw obviously is the favourite result, but Lancashire will still harbour hopes somewhere that they might be able to dodge the showers, score enough runs quickly in order to try and force a win sometime tomorrow. But first things first, we have 64 overs scheduled between now and the close of play today. Whether we will get anywhere near those remains to be seen, because not sure the light will hold for that long. But we're going to give it a go. Keaton Jennings, openers. It is Alex Davis. Keaton Jennings. Jennings will captain Joe Leach. If our colleagues in our cans, that would be right. On ball, even I can cope with that. Leach in and bowls, and Jennings stands up, cuts it into point, and there's no run. Worcestershire's attacking field sees them have 4 slips and a backward point, 2 without loss. So plenty of close catches here. Worcestershire have got to go quite aggressive quite early here. You can understand that. Try and use the conditions and make some early breakthroughs. Jennings is having nothing to do with this next delivery from Leach outside the off stump. Through it goes to Ben Cox. Joining me, Dan Wheeler, in the commentary box this afternoon, BBC Hereford and Worcester Sally Bentley-Reid, and BBC Radio Lancashire, BBC Radio Manchester's Scott Reed. Afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
We have some cricket.
Yay!
This is great news. And from Lancashire's point of view, Scott, somewhere at the back of their minds there'll be a flicker of optimism about maybe trying to force a win as Leach comes in and bowls to Jennings. He won't get a run here as he dabs it down to Ed Barnard fielding at point.
Yes, I think so. I think there's still a lot of cricket to go today. 64 overs is quite a decent chunk of the day's allocation. That's subject to the weather and to the light, but if they get all these 64 overs in, and if they get a bit of a break tomorrow with the weather, I think they will still fancy their chances of trying to put the home side under pressure.
Here's Leach pounding away now up to the edge of the bowling crease and puts it through, and a bit of lift there as that flies through past the off stump of Keaton Jennings through to Ben Cox. And there's no run. It's still quite chilly here at New Road. It's still quite overcast. We've had no rain at all today, but the hold-up was all about the condition of the outfield. It was just too wet for any chance of getting out before we did. But the good news is that no more rain forecast, hopefully, for the next few hours, as this again is left alone by Jennings outside the off stump. So fingers crossed we can get the bulk of these 64 overs in.
Yeah, and if we do that, if we get the bulk of the 64 overs in, and crucially if Lancashire are still batting for the majority of their 64 overs, then they will have themselves quite a sizable first innings lead against Worcestershire, which would allow them potentially, should the forecast behave itself tomorrow, to to maybe be in a position to try and win the game. But I mean, there's been so much time lost, and they've got to score relatively quickly to be in that position.
Leach switches to round the wicket to the left-handed Jennings, fires it into his pads, turns into mid-wicket, where it's fielded by Adam Finch, making his first-class debut, his senior debut for Worcestershire today, the young fast bowler. Interesting to see how he gets on. Very keen to see him operate for the first time. We saw him warming up actually, and he just certainly has a bit of pace about him. 2 without loss then after that first over from Joe Leach, as Lancashire reply to Worcestershire's first innings of 98.
Morrison has answered to bowl from the Douglas end.
Here's a good fact for you. How many gallons do we think, to the nearest 100, water has been taken off the outfield by the blotters this morning? How many do you think?
Is this accurate?
It is, of course.
It's just been
passed to me and verified 3 times.
Morrison now in his run-up. Davis waits for him and just lets that one go through to Ben Cox behind the stumps. No run.
Yes, I have it in front of me. The number of gallons of water removed from the outfield by the blotter today by an inscrutable source.
I'm going to go for something like...
The nearest 100.
I mean, there's quite a lot of rain, wasn't it?
Rained all day yesterday. All day yesterday.
Something like 600.
Morris to Davis and just dabs us down on the offside, and Barnard comes in, throw at the stumps and overthrows there. Leach can't gather it in, and it's gone for 4 overthrows. So what was just pushed out on the offside went through for a quick single. And didn't expect that to reach the boundary given all the rain, but obviously all that rain that was soaked up.
Most of it was down in front of the old scoreboard. That's now light lightning down there. I'm not sure what Ed Barnard was trying there. It was an underarm, but he got it all wrong, and it went miles over the stumps and over the man trying to cut it off, backing up, and that's raced away down to the rope for 5 in the end.
600 seems quite a lot, but then again, thinking about it, maybe I'm short with that.
You are a bit. I'm not going to do my Bruce Forsyth impression,
higher or lower?
but I'm going to go higher. 80 you higher.
800.
Oh my word, that's really...
No, I'm going to say higher.
Oh,
gracious. Can we be 1,000? No, that's ridiculous. It can't be.
Morrison now to Jennings, time left-hander. He just pushes this back at the wicket. No run. So more than 1,000. Still more.
Outstanding effort from the ground staff.
Do you want the answer?
Go on.
1,105.
It was a bit wet, wasn't it?
A lot of gallons.
Yeah.
Where's it all gone?
They were surfing round, weren't they, this morning? That was the clue.
Morrison again. Jennings waits and pushes this out on the onside this time. At the mid-on. Leach there, no run. Where has it all gone? Where have they put it?
I don't know,
actually. Pond out the back now?
Do they still spray it out the side of it?
They used to, and it used to be on the outfield.
That's right, yeah. But I didn't see that this morning. Don't know. Responsibly disposed of somewhere. Don't know.
Of course. Jennings yet to get off the mark, waits for Morris this time. Once again, played back down the wicket on the offside. Whiteley was the fielding, no run.
Lancashire got like an underground well underneath the outfield, so they store some of their water so they can reuse it when they're watering the outfield.
Well, it's the water to use, isn't it? Rainwater.
Apparently so.
For washing the car, it's best, isn't it? For washing the car.
Right. Yeah. It's a top tip.
For the paintwork, isn't it? Is it something to do with rainwater?
I
made it up.
believe you.
Morris last ball of the over, and Jennings gets the bat on this on the offside and goes through for a quick single. Barnard, obviously keen after being cooped up for a couple of days, has had another shy at the stumps and at least hit them this time. No overthrows.
Yeah, that might have been what he was trying to
I presume so.
But his release point the first time was far too late and it went miles over and away to the fence, but that was much better. Turning himself into a human torpedo there at mid-wicket, underarming, clattering in the stumps, but he was safe, wasn't he?
Although there still could have been overthrows, couldn't there? Although I still think that should be dead ball. I'd rather it was
8 without loss though. Davis has 5, all from that attempted run out from Ed Barnard in that last over.
Would that have always been the plan for Davis to come in and change the order, Scott?
Well, that's a good point. As Leach comes around the wicket to Jennings, who's forward and defending, there's no run. The first game of the season at Middlesex, Hamid opened the batting, but it's because Davis had injured his finger while keeping wicket in that fixture. But during the course of pre-season, they had Jennings and Davis opening in the pre-season games with Hamid at 3.
Okay.
Leach again into Jennings, who's driving into the offside, quite time it, but enough on that to get through for a single, and he moves to 2, 9 for 1. So yeah, it worked for them in pre-season. Hamid got a double century against Loughborough University, and I'm pretty sure he's batting at 3 in that game. I think Davis and Jennings opened the match. So yeah, I think that's perhaps how they look at this. They've effectively got kind of 3 openers, haven't they? Because Davis and Jennings and Hamid all opening batsmen. Glenn Chappell said last year that the idea of having an opener batting at 3, he's quite happy with that.
Yeah, especially if you do lose an early wicket, you've still got someone who's quite able to cope with those early overs.
4 slips in place. Leach into Davis, and that's through to the keeper, and there's no run.
In terms of Jennings as well, Scott, where is he, do you think, at the moment with England? He was out of the side the last time. We know how much he's been in and out of the side over the last year or so. But I suppose he's not an automatic. I mean, he's had a decent season, hasn't he? But I guess he's not an automatic pick for the Test side.
No,
that unresolved issue, isn't there? The top 3.
I mean, yeah, he's had a pretty solid season. Leach to Davis, who was beaten by a good ball, that's through to the keeper, no run. A couple of 50s. I think he's got into the 90s once. He's had a pretty solid start to the season, but I suppose it's still like over a month away, isn't it? The first Ashes Test match, not till August. So there's still quite a bit of time before that first Test match. I suppose he's like a number of batsmen that will feel as though if they can get a little run together, get some scores together, then he'll be in contention. Leach to Davis, worked off the pads down to fine leg. He jogs through for a single, takes him to 6, and the score moves on to 10 without loss.
I guess, I suppose to someone like Rory Burns, I suppose Jennings now is not the man in possession, is he? So he's kind of on the outside looking back in terms of trying to get back in. So yeah, this next month is going to be key for him. He's going to get another chance. 10 without loss.
It's Jennings on strike. Here's Leach from the New Road end, comes in, bowls to Jennings, full of ball, which is punched down the ground. Could be a slow outfield because of that volume of water on it. Will it reach the boundary rope? No, it's a terrific effort by Ross Whiteley to scoop up the ball down by the long off boundary. Excellent piece of fielding, and saved a couple of runs there for his side as well. At the end of the over, so we've had 3 in this Lancashire first innings. Jennings has 5, Davis has 6, and Lancashire have 13 without loss.
Yeah, good chase that was from Ross Whiteley. Picked those long legs up, got those knees pumping, and an admirable dive. He's left quite a big kink in the boundary rope though. No one's going to straighten that out.
Just pop down and straighten it up.
Righto. 13 without loss. Charlie Morris is going to continue from the Diglis end. Here he goes, right arm over the wicket to left-handed Jennings, who's nicking this one off his hip down to a fine leg where Adam Finch runs round to his left-hand side. Good throw from him over the top of the stumps to Ben Cox. One more to the total. 25 wickets this season for Charlie Morris. The second innings of the Middlesex game in particular was, I guess, kind of the first time this season it hasn't all quite clicked for him and all gone his way. So such a brilliant return to County Championship cricket this summer, of course. Here he is bowling for right-handed Davis. a bit of shape away. No shot offered by the right-hander though. Through it goes to Cox. So he started with that career best 7 for 45 in the second innings in the big win at Leicestershire, and followed that up in the first innings with Durham with another haul of 6 for 53, and then against Lancashire at Old Trafford 4 and 1, and then against Middlesex 3 for 53 and 2 for 74. Here he is again, bowls, and Davis is slightly on the walk as he drives this one up to mid-on, where Joe Leach fields, rubs the ball on the front of his sleeveless sweater. 25 wickets, a superb return at this stage from Charlie Morris with his remodelled action. Brought him great success, turning at the top of his mark now at the Diglis end. 14 without loss, Lancashire, as Morris bowls. It's a stride forward, Davis, but leaves the bat well out of the road of the ball. Through it goes to Cox.
One of my favourite bowling actions for Charlie Morris. I love it how he drags his right shoulder down and he just kind of keeps it like his shoulder's pointing towards the batsman in his follow through, isn't it? It's a terrifically exaggerated follow through of the arm from Morris. Great to watch.
Yeah, he's added a little bit of zip, I think, and he's said that he's now got his outswing going again. Here he is, bowls. This one's a bit wider. Keeps a bit low actually on its way through. Davis has a look, plays no stroke again. But yeah, he worked so hard over the last 3 years, last 3 winters. And part of him that we can't believe that he's actually here with this amount of success. But, all that hard work has certainly paid off. Here he is again, past the umpire and bowls. Davis gets bat on this next delivery. Out to Ross Whiteley at mid-off. End of the over, a maiden over. Is that a maiden? No, one coming off it. 14 without loss. 2 overs for 7 for both Morris and Leach. Jennings has 6 and Davis also has 6. Lancashire replying to Worcestershire's 98 all out. 4 overs of this reply gone. 60 are scheduled in the day, but whether we will get that far, I doubt.
I think Charlie Morris had said pre-season he was looking to target 50, certainly 50 wickets, so he's well on his way for that. As Leach continues from the New Road end to Jennings, he pushes that back down the wicket on the offside, no run. Whiteley comes in from mid-off to do the fielding.
Well, he took, I think, over 50 wickets, didn't he, in his first 2 seasons in County Championship cricket, in the second division and in the first division. He backed it up, and then
he really impressed, didn't he,
in
2013, as when he came up to the first team that first season. And I think partly the accuracy of his line and length that season. Leach in past the umpire to Jennings and looks for a quick run, but Whiteley's in sharply from mid-off, and there isn't a run there.
There's a collection of hardy souls on the top of the cathedral.
Oh yeah.
Casting an eye. Well, they might not be. They might be posing for a photo with their backs to the cricket. I don't know. Can't see. But they're up there.
They've gone up there for a great view of the game.
Yes. See where the rain's coming in
Something to
from.
do all morning. Leach in again, and once more it's just a repeat of that as Jennings respects the ball and plays it on the offside to Whiteley.
When I was here for the game last season, I wanted to walk up the top of the spire, but it's only open at certain times of the year, isn't it? So whatever the part of the year the game was last year, I walked around to the cathedral and tried to find a way up, but it was shut. I was quite disappointed. I was looking forward to it.
Leach again, and Piers for LBW for Jennings, and he's given. Jennings has been given. He doesn't look impressed with that decision. He puts his head back, taps the wicket with his bat and looks over at the umpire as he makes his way off the ground and comes over to have a word with Alex Davis as he's given out LBW to Joe Leach for 6, and Worcestershire have their first wicket. Jennings is continuing to talk to Davis as Davis has made his way across the square, halfway off with Jennings. Presumably he knows he hasn't got to go as well. But I don't think keeping Jennings as some reason too impressed by that decision. Although Leach seemed pretty convinced, as did Worcestershire. These are fielders behind the stumps as well.
He was a long way down, so
yeah.
I know in the days of DRS.
He's not, you know, he's relatively tall as well, isn't he, Keaton Jennings? So
yeah, and whether that we have got a replay of it, but we are behind the batsman, so it's not exactly easy to tell where that pitched. It looked pretty close to leg stump as well. I don't know whether
Jennings thought it was doing too much.
He thought it might have pitched outside leg stump, and he did seem a long way forward. But you're right, wasn't too enamoured with that decision from the umpire.
I think it's Mark Newell, isn't it, this end? He did think about it for a good few seconds. It wasn't a rash decision, or neither was it a sort of, perhaps in the same way, equally a, oh, I'm completely convinced you're out. He did have a think about it. That brings Hasib Hamid to the crease. As Scott was saying, Lancashire with 3 people who are able to open for them, so this isn't a problem for Hamid. He'll be used to opening as well. 2 balls left and Leach is over. Lancashire now 14 for 1. Hamid has a look round, checks the field, takes guard, waits for Leach from this new road end. He's over the wicket, and big stride forward from Hamid this time. And the ball goes through to Cox as no stroke played.
Well, he started the season well, didn't he, Hasib Hamid, with the double 100 against the Universities, against Loughborough, and he followed that up with another 100 in the first county championship match of the season against Middlesex. All England supporters as well as Lancashire fans would like to see his renaissance continue.
Leach again, and another big stride forward from Hamid. He lets the ball go through to Cox, and applause from the small number of people at New Road this afternoon in quite damp, murky conditions to watch what cricket we will get this afternoon. 64 overs, but the light comes into play for that.
Yeah, it's already looking a little bit dark, isn't it?
I was going to say that it's changed even in that bit of time. Then they weren't playing when they were trying to dry the field.
Morris from the Diglis end to continue, and there's another big appeal, but umpire Rob Bailey unmoved. That one fired in at Alex Davis. We'll update FM listeners to BBC Hereford and Worcesters very shortly. Well, Tammy, good news, we have play, and good news, Worcestershire have taken a wicket. We got underway at 2:10 after all the 1,000 gallons of water had been pumped off the outfield by the blotters here. They've done a tremendous job with all that rain yesterday. So we have cricket, and Joe Leach has taken a wicket. Keaton Jennings, LBW, for 6 in the last over. Jennings wasn't too enamoured with the decision from umpire Mark Newell. Might have been a little bit far down, might have pitched outside leg stump as well. There seemed to be an element of doubt, but not in the umpire's mind, and he was gone for 6. So Worcestershire, who desperately need to make as many breakthroughs as they can with such a small first innings total. Remember, 98 all out they were on day 1. Lancashire 14 for 1 in the 6th over. We have another 59 overs scheduled for today. And that's a beautiful drive by Alex Davis. Little bit full, little bit wide from Charlie Morris, and that's cream through the covers away for 4. 18 for 1. Davis is into double figures.
May I just mention Chris Rimmer, who's Lancashire scorer.
Yes.
Who so far this season has been providing me with, in his own words, some utterly useless facts. And we have an utterly useless fact, albeit this one's quite an intriguing one at the same time. So it's one that I'll mention, and this will be of interest to both Lancashire and Worcestershire fans as well.
Morris past the umpire and bowls short, and Davis goes up and over backward point. A couple of bounces away for 4. Successive boundaries for the Lancashire right-handed opener. He's up to 14, and it is 22 for 1.
So cast your mind back, if you're a fan of Worcestershire or a fan of Lancashire, to games here at New Road, because only 2 Lancashire batsmen have ever got a century and then naught against against Worcestershire here at New Road. So Chris Rummer provides me with occasionally some useless stats and useless facts, and this is one of them for this week. So any ideas, tweet us at BBC Lancs Cricket. Who are the 2 Lancashire batsmen, the only 2 to have got a century and a naught against Worcestershire in the same game?
Morris bowls. Davis again looking for a 3rd straight 4. It's through the covers again, but he's not quite got all of that. Ross Whiteley gives chase, and a slide and a throw in pretty much one fluid motion from Whiteley, but they are back for the 2nd run. Davis has got 10 in the last 3 deliveries. He's up to 18, 26 for 1. 24 for 1, beg his pardon, got a bit carried away. Still on 16. 1 ball left of Charlie Morris's 3rd over, none for 17 so far. Here he comes then. Up to the wicket and bowls. Davis again! Oh, very good stop by Whiteley at mid-off. Full length to his left-hand side and got that big left hand down on it and stopped. Probably had enough legs to get to the rope had he not been able to get anything on it, but again, given the full treatment there, Davis will be frustrated by that. The end of the over, 24 for 1. Davis has 16. Hamid only faced a couple of balls, yet to get off the mark.
He's been bright and busy, hasn't he, Alex Davis?
He has.
16 off 16. When you looked at Davis being back in the squad and then obviously fit enough to play, it looked like it would be an opening pair of Jennings and Davis with Hamid at 3. And he'll be desperate to make up for time lost in the season as Leach bowls to Hamid. He's forward, playing a 4 defensive. The ball just beats him through to Cox, and there's no run. He had injury against Middlesex where he fractured his finger or his thumb. It was only a small fracture, but it was enough obviously when you keep your wicket as well to keep you out the team for a bit. So he missed the entire Royal London One Day Cup campaign, and this is only his 2nd county championship game of the season, so should be eager to make up for a bit of lost time. Alex Davis at the non-strikers end. Hamid's on strike. Leach bowls. Hamid playing forward again. Does that come off an edge? Good take by Cox, but nothing on that from Hamid. He rubs the side of his thigh, his right thigh there. And the ball was taken pretty spectacularly by Ben Cox, cartwheeling to his right-hand side, just in front of 2nd slip.
There was a big deflection on that, but it obviously came off his thigh, I think. You certainly see the area that he was rubbing Hamid.
Yes, he walked out to square leg and frantically started rubbing his thigh, didn't he, Hamid, just to make sure everyone knew that it deflected off the thigh pad. In comes Leach again, forward comes Hamid again, just tucking his bat inside the line through to the keeper, Ben Cox. No run, there are 4 slips, there's a point, extra cover, a mid-off. There's a mid-wicket and there is a fine leg. At 24 for 1, Hamid on 0, Davis on 16, Jennings the man out, LBW off the bowling of Joe Leach for 6. We have 58 overs remaining in the day's play, weather and light permitting. Day 3 of the county championship fixture here at the Black Finch New Road, and it's Leach who's coming in and bowling to Hamid. He's playing forward defensive again. He's tucking his bat inside the line, gathered by Cox, and again there is no run.
Play underway here, and play underway on the 2nd day of the 2nd 11 championship match involving Worcestershire at Wantage Road against Northants. Northants 24 without loss after being put in by Worcestershire. Pat Brown and Dylan Pennington are taking the new ball for Worcestershire.
Leach from the New Road end over the wicket, bowls, and Hamid again striding forward, back in front of his pad this time. Ball pitches and zips into the gloves of Cox, who's up onto his toes to take it in front of 1st slip.
I think Tom Fell and George Rhodes are playing in that game as well, should be. Are Lancs 2's playing, Scott?
They have been, but I think there's been a bit of rain around. I think they're playing at Horsham. So they're playing Sussex, but I think it's been affected by the weather. In fact, I think he's been called off for the day because of the poor weather. Leach to complete the over. Again, Hamid forward and just tucking his back inside the line. and content to allow that one to pass into the gloves of the keeper. It's the end of the 7th over of Lancashire's first innings. 24 for 1. Hamid still on naught. He's faced 8 deliveries, and Alex Davis unbeaten on 16.
Yeah, I can't find a score for that actually. The Lancs 2s. Unless I'm missing something. Where are they playing, Scott?
I think it was Horsham.
No, it's not coming up. No, that's ominous. When I click on it, it says no content available.
Morris to continue from the Douglas end, and just seems to beat Davis slightly. It goes through to Cox. Davis has a little wander. On to the next strip. Just rehearses his shot.
Well, Worcestershire have got to bear in mind here that conditions are in their favour. I mean, this is a good time to be bowling. Brand new ball, overcast conditions, certainly something in the pitch. They've got to try and replicate at least the pressure that Lancashire caused.
Morris again, and Davis comes forward, sends it back down. Morris does the fielding himself.
Okay, it's a different style of attack, obviously, to Lancashire's with Jimmy Anderson and Graham Onions, and Sakiro Mood as well. Got their own weapons, Worcestershire, and they have made one breakthrough. Finch getting Keaton Jennings out, LBW for 6. They'll want more.
Morris into the crease now, and Davis just defends that. It goes out on the offside.
Yeah, Lancashire playing.
Sorry,
Lancashire's seconds playing Sussex. They bowled them out for 234, and then closed on 84 for 1 in reply. 3 wickets for Toby Lester, but they've not played today because of the rain.
Just make sure we don't get any complaints.
Morris to Davis again, who cuts that away, and straight down to third man for 4. 4 runs to him. It just seemed very casual, that the ball just seemed exactly where he wanted it, almost like when they're practicing some of the shots before they came out to play, where they're trying to give slip practice, but it was obviously well wide of the slips. No one even bothered to chase after it, other than to retrieve it. And 4 more to Davis, who moves on to 20 from 20 for him. As you say, they needed to score fairly quickly, and I think that seems to be Davis's role as Lancashire have come out.
It wasn't a great ball, was it? But he's put it away quite nicely.
Morris to try again now, and this one's up to mid-on, no run.
Yeah, he's tried to vary it, Charlie Morris. I suppose in a way, understandably, because the previous over, Davis had creamed him through the covers 3 times, twice before. But yeah, that one was just too short and sat up. But Davis played that really well. It looked like he had loads of time. And it was kind of an instinctive shot, but it looked like he'd thought about it and had time to just dab it away. That's where it was. Nicely played too.
Morris again to Davis, who's again got this down to third man for 4 runs, but slightly finer this time, and he's certainly taking the more aggressive role, but again not a great ball from Charlie Morris, and seems to be the runs are flowing easily for Alex Davis out there at the moment. I don't think Charlie Morris will be that chuffed with the way he started, or certainly the last 2 overs. Been punished somewhat.
Well, 4 overs, none for 25 now. Yeah, that last one was a bit more edgy, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And wasn't in the air for very long, but had there been a 4th slip, they may have had a chance of stopping it going for 4, but Callum Ferguson there at 3rd, no chance of being able to cut that off. 32 for 1 then. Lancashire making a fast start as Hamid comes forward to this next delivery. A new over from Joe Leach, and it's out into the offside and fielded at point by Ed Barnard, and there's no run. 4 overs, 2 maidens, 1 for 7 for the returning Worcestershire captain, who came back into the fold after a year out with stress fracture of his back against Durham. Picked up 6 wickets in that match, and he's just chipped away in the last 2 matches. A 1 and a 2 at Old Trafford as his next ball is left alone outside the off stump, and a 1 and a 2 again against Middlesex. A couple of 30s as well in those games too with the bat. Tends to come in now quite low down the order at 9. Have a bit more of a free rein to give it a biff. And he's now sprinting away from us past umpire Bailey and bowls. Forward comes Hamid. Carefully straight back up the pitch. Ignored by the bowler. He's not happy to let Wayne Parnell pick that up at mid-on.
Well done to Mark and to Alan at
got
BBC Lancs Cricket on Twitter. Got the answer right to Chris Rimmer's useless fact of the day. I'll repeat it in a minute.
Leach turns, sprints up to the wicket now and bowls. Hamid comes forward again with that idiosyncratic stretch forward, that high sharp elbow as well coming forward, and a very textbook full defensive stroke back to the bowler. He's still not off the mark yet, Asib Hamid. 12 balls he's faced now. 32 for 1 Lancashire. Replying to Worcestershire's 98 all out. 55 overs remaining after this one in the day. Leach bowls. This is slightly wider and doesn't tempt Hamid to have a go. Lets that go through the cocks. So we've got 2.
Mark and Alan have got it both right. I hope it's maybe they've done a bit of research and found out the answer, which in itself deserves credit. But I kind of hope
ability to use internet.
Exactly. I kind of hope that they just knew it.
Leach up to the wicket and bowls. This one's shorter. The first time this over, and Hamid goes on to the back foot, but plays it comfortably out to the covers, and there's no run. End of the over. 9 overs gone in this Lancashire reply. Leach 5 overs, 3 maidens, 1 for 7. Lancashire 32. 15 balls faced.
So we're looking for the 2 Lancashire batsmen, and there's only ever been 2 who have got a century and a naught in the same game against Worcestershire at New Road. And you're not going back that long. But only 2 Lancashire batsmen to have scored a century and naught against Worcestershire in the same game here at New Road. 2 right answers so far. I'm sure people are dying to know what the answer is. I mean, the suspense gripping.
Actually, I have forgotten what the second answer is.
Right.
I remember the first.
Okay.
Can't remember the second.
Well, we should reveal all shortly. There's Wayne Parnell into the attack around the wicket to Davis. Oh, that's edged. And Vessel's just out towards his right-hand side. I think that bounced just a fraction in front, didn't it? Oh, that carried. Did that carry to Vessel?
I think it did. Yeah.
Also from his reaction, I thought it did.
Yeah, well, the reaction of Davis too was that glance over his shoulder, wasn't it?
The telltale sign.
Of guilt and concern.
I got a nick on it. Has anyone pouched it?
If that did carry, then that's kind of Vessel's going low to his right, about kind of knee height, something like that. And as Davis goes back and just pushes this one into the offside, it's gathered at short extra cover, no run.
It was one of those ones that really died in those last sort of few centimetres as it arrowed towards Ricky Vessels, and he just couldn't quite compensate for that and get his fingers under it. He's still wringing the tips of his right hand.
I think Parnell might just see if he wants to swap the sun hat.
Yes, he's still wringing his right hand there, isn't he, Ricky Vessels at first slip.
Looks taped up already.
Mitchell at second, Ferguson at gully. Parnell bowling to Davis, who's forward and defending. Ball played safely out to point. And there is no run, 32 for 1. Davis on 24. Hamid has faced 14 deliveries, yet to get his innings up and running. He's at the non-striker's end, just leaning on his bat. Davis settles back into his crease. Parnell, who had a really good day, or a good game, and in particular a very good first day for Worcestershire against Lancashire in the reverse fixture at Old Trafford a few weeks ago. He's back into Davis, who's attempting a drive, and they claim an edge, and the umpire belatedly agrees. He took some time. Davis walking out towards square leg. Clearly felt he didn't hit it, or at least maybe just trying to suggest to the umpire he didn't hit it, but after careful consideration, up went the finger. Davis is gone, caught behind, and Parnell strikes his first over. Davis has gone for 24, and that is Lancashire 32-14.
Yeah, he had a long think about it, didn't he, the umpire? But the Worcestershire fielders were all confident. Wayne Parnell up, Ben Cox up straight away, and Davis had a bit of a wander towards square leg, and then he's got to stop, turn round and walk in completely the opposite direction to go back to the pavilion. The finger was raised, and Worcestershire make their second breakthrough, 32-4-2.
Well, I mean, he obviously felt like he didn't hit it, but sometimes, batsmen are like this, they're trying to pull the wool over your eyes, aren't they, a little bit? But I mean, it took a long time for the umpire to decide whether or not there was an edge there. It's not like you're thinking, kind of considering an LBW decision. He either thinks he edged it or he didn't. It took a long time for him to come to the conclusion that he did.
Well, whether that came back into him, and maybe if it was an edge, the inside edge, and maybe that's what I don't know. Whether the batsman is any less sure if it's just grazed his inside edge. I don't know. If you know if you've hit it, you've hit it, haven't you? Really, you know. But it came as a surprise, definitely the finger when it was raised for Alex Davis.
It was the length of the time that the umpire took. But I mean, you can't win if you're an umpire. I mean, he gave himself time to think about the decision. But I don't know, a nick behind, you either kind of know he's nicked it, or you don't think he's nicked it. I don't know what there is a great deal is to consider. But anyway, here is Parnell into the new batsman, which is Rob Jones, and that's Ball Jones. He's hit his off stump, and it's 2-2 for Parnell. Jones has gone for naught, first ball faced, and Lancashire are 3 down, 32-3, and an instant impact into the game for Wayne Parnell. I mentioned just how well he bowled and batted against Lancashire at Old Trafford a few weeks ago, and he's straight in the game with the ball here today. 2-2 for him, 32-3 now Lancashire.
Well, crikey, when you think he's had a drop catch off his first ball, and now he's picked up 2 wickets, one that kept maybe a little bit low, but it was a terrific angle, slightly wide of the crease, coming in and hitting off stump as well. From that angle in, that's a classic delivery from Parnell, and he's enjoying himself against Lancashire yet again. 32-3. Worcestershire, remember, only got 98 runs to play with on first innings, and Lancashire's hopes would have come in and to have got up to that total as quickly as possible and beyond it by a good 150 if they could, but that plan is in tatters at the moment. 32-3. Still got a ball left of this over. Might end it with a hat-trick.
It could be, yeah. I don't think he's considered a run yet, has he? Neither. No, he hasn't. On for a double wicket maiden. Could be in for a hat-trick, who knows? 32-3. Liam Livingston, the new batsman. So Hamid is on naught at the non-striker's end. He's faced 14 deliveries. Parnell's dismissed Davis. It'll feather behind to the keeper. Cox took the catch and Davis departs, and then the very next ball he's had Jones playing a forward defensive. It's a little shuffle down the pitch from Jones, and then to his horror the ball crashed into his off stump, and 2-2, so 32-3. We've had a rather eventful start to the third day. We got underway at 2:10, waited for an age for the game to resume, and it's been a busy start for this third day. An extra slip in as well now, so 4 slips, and why not? Here's Parnell, hat-trick ball. Livingston takes his time, and I think that's a sensible decision too from Livingston, just carefully, cautiously taking his guard. Little skip and walks out to square leg, twirls his bat, 4 slips behind him, point, extra cover, mid-off, mid-on, square leg. Parnell for a hat-trick, in and bowls to Livingston, who allows this one to pass through and into the gloves of Ben Cox. It's the end of a double wicket maiden for Wayne Parnell. Lancashire are 32-4.
Fabulous stuff from Parnell. We're going to hear from, we're going to be joined in the commentary box by the young Worcestershire left arm spinner, Ben Tuig, in the next few moments. Good to see Ben. 32-3. With Lancashire now in a spot of bother. Hamid and Livingston, 2 batsmen at the crease, both on naught. Here comes Leach then from the New Road end, bowling to Hamid, who's forward, phasing it out onto the offside, and there's no run. Afternoon to you, Ben.
Afternoon.
You've come at just the right time.
I have, it's all happening. It's all happening. No play for a while, and then we get on and let London buses.
Yeah, fantastic work from Wayne Parnell. He's got Worcestershire back into this game. Well, good to see you first of all. And the latest on the knee injury, we'll get that in just a second. Here comes Leach in and bowls, and forward comes Hamid back up the pitch, and there's no run, because you've been out doing rehab again this afternoon, haven't you?
I have, yeah. So I've done 2 sessions today. The knee's in good shape, as good as can be at this point. So I'm pretty much 2 months into a 7-month rehab.
Yeah.
So it's as good as can be.
Sadly, we're not going to see you until well into the next season now, are we?
Yeah, so hopefully start of next season I should be.
Leach in bowls. That's a cracking delivery to Hamid. That really spat off the pitch off a good length and whistled past the right shoulder of his bat through to Cox. Great stuff from Joe Leach. Worcestershire with their tails up here can sense more wickets. Lancashire 32 for 3. So sorry, Ben. Yeah, it's gonna. How's the rehab going to go on from here?
So hopefully be back fully fit and playing by next season, which is my goal.
Leach past the umpire and bowls onto his toes goes Hamid and plays that nicely. Might get a 2 here. Well, they're going to run the first one. Well, they might have run that slightly quicker than they did. Ross Whiteley gave chase out towards cover, put the slide in, and maybe that's just the speed at which he did that and got in a position to throw. Just was the crucial factor that made them not chance a second run. So just 1 run taken, 33 for 3. A couple of balls left of this 6th over. Livingston just has a wander towards square leg to just make the batsman wait, the bowler wait a little bit. Leach is into him and outside the off stump. No great carry on this one from Joe Leach, and taken down low by Cox. 33 for 3. Are you a good trainer, Ben? Has it been sort of quite arduous? It's a long road back, isn't it? Are you?
Yeah, it's been hard. I don't mind training. Once I get there and get my head involved, I'm okay. I think it's hard because it's a long time.
Leach bowls, and Livingston is forward, bat and pad close together, and drops it down just a few yards in front of him. End of the over, 33 for 3.
I think just the longevity of the injury, it can be quite tough, and you know that if you're looking for next season, it's a long way away. Yeah. So you've just kind of got to take it week by week and a phase at a time, and just try and keep that motivation, really, to keep going and get back out there.
And you're still obviously part of the setup, seeing the lads on a regular basis.
I mean, most days, if not every day, that the boys are in, and obviously my timetable is a bit different and a little bit shorter than a normal playing day, but I'm still involved, and the lads are good. Like, they make everyone feel welcome. So.
Wayne Parnell is going to continue after his fantastic first over from the Diglis end, and he's in now to Hamid, who just gets the bat on this, it's an outside edge and it's gone away backward of point, and Barnard, who tried to do the fielding, seemed to go down on his shoulder, and he's holding that, but hopefully all okay there as Dell does the fielding, and they take 2 runs.
And have you got I appreciate it's very premature at the moment, but have you got any plan anywhere down the line for maybe getting ball back in hand for the first time and turning the arm over, or is that still quite a long way away for you?
I think that's still quite a long way away. I know when I'm in the gym I do try and have a little bowling action now and again. I think
Shadow bowling.
Yeah, I think I am missing it, but I think that's a little bit further down the line than the immediate future. But the science and medical team here are so good that I'll be back on my feet when I can, and it'll be the right time to actually do it, so there's no rush. If I can't play this season, in my head, I just had to be fit for next season.
Parnell to Hamid, who just seems to try and let that go, but it goes through along the ground to Cox as Hamid just rehearses the stroke and takes a break, walks away from the stumps, had a look at the very bottom of his bat. He did get back on that, but it just went along the ground. No run. 35 for 3, Lancashire.
What Parnell is doing well here, isn't he? He's making the batsman play every ball, or at least think about having to play a shot every time.
Yeah, not letting him get away, and Mead turns this on the leg side this time. They go through for a quick single.
And the angle around the wicket with the left arm. Obviously I'll do it as a spinner, but you're making them play because the angle's always coming at the stumps. And on this kind of wicket, in these conditions, if you can make the batsman play 6 times in an over, you're probably going to get half a chance, or if not a clear-cut chance.
Well, we had a good look at the replay for the Rob Jones dismissal, and it was a cracking ball. It was slightly wide of the crease.
Parnell again to Livingston this time, as you were saying. It's just making them play.
But just that natural angle, and the ball just kind of just held its line a little bit, and sort of pitched off stump and hit off. It was a cracking piece of bowling, and an eventful first over for him, because another day he might have had 3 wickets.
Absolutely, could be interesting to see what Livingston does. He's quite an aggressive player naturally.
Parnell to finish the over to Livingston, who it's a little edge on this through to Dell, but no run. And end of that over from Parnell, no wickets that time. 36 for 3, Lancashire remain.
Just been buzzed by a what's the red helicopter?
Air ambulance.
Air ambulance. Yeah. Yes. Hopefully that's not bad news. Necessarily bad news. But buzzes over New Road out towards sort of Malvern Way. Towards the way. 36 for 3. Overcast conditions here at New Road still. 12 overs gone. 52 remain on the card. Whether we'll get all those, I doubt. Leach in bowls outside the off stump. We'll have an update for BBC Hereford and Worcester's FM listeners coming shortly in the news at 3 o'clock. And in terms of getting your captain back as well, Ben, this season, a huge boost, hasn't it? He's had another one like yourself who's faced last year 12 months out on the sidelines and come back in and has already shown what Worcestershire have been missing.
Yeah, he has.
Here he comes, up to the wicket and bowls, and on the cut this time is Hamid. He'll get runs too. There's a dive at backward point by Ed Barnard. He's taken a bit of pace off the ball as Josh Dell runs out to third man to complete the fielding. They're back for a second run. Hamid up to 6, 38 for 3.
I think for Joe coming back so well and fitting straight back into the groove, it just shows how good of a bowler he actually is.
Yeah.
And his stats over the last 4 seasons have been phenomenal, really.
Here he is then, past the umpire, bowls, and forward comes Hamid. Has a little look at that, but eventually takes the bat out of the road of the ball and lets it go through to Ben Cox. Yeah, looking at him, I remember the Durham game was his comeback game, and the way he opened in that innings, it was almost like he'd never been away. He was right on the money, pace was up, didn't seem to be bowling within himself, he seemed to be going straight full throttle.
And I think that's the thing, because you're out for such a long time, you're just raring to go by then.
Yeah.
And he's probably itching.
Here he is again, bowls, and carbon copy the last delivery really. Hamid has a good look at it, decides to play no stroke, and through it goes to Cox. 4 slip there waiting for an edge. We've already seen 1 put down by Ricky Vessels. It wasn't too costly off Wayne Parnell's first over, because Alex Davis then perished 3 balls later. And here's Leach, turning at the top of his run. Here he comes, bowls, and this keeps a bit low outside the off stump. Once more Hamid offers nothing. through it goes to Cox. Yeah, sort of typical Joe Leach in a way, his figures: 3 for 59, 3 for 49, and 1 for 34, 2 for 29, 1 for 58, 2 for 48. It's just there, isn't he?
Exactly.
Chipping away.
And that's the thing, if you can be there or thereabouts majority of the time, and everyone has a good day where you get your 5-fers, your 6-fers, then your wickets just keep tallying up.
He's up to the wicket now and bowling. I mean, he comes forward this time and does get some bat on it. It threatens to trickle back towards the stumps, but not fast enough to cause him any real problems. Not sure it was going on to the stumps anyway. The end of the over. Leach has now bowled 7 overs, 3 maidens, 1 for 10. Lancashire 38 for 3, replying to Worcestershire's first innings of 98. An update for FM listeners on the way very shortly. Well, after all the waiting around, Worcestershire's bowlers have made the most of it, really. They've reduced Lancashire to 38 for 3. Keaton Jennings for 6 LBW to Leach, and then a tremendous first over from Wayne Parnell, who tormented Lancashire in the first meeting a few weeks ago up at Old Trafford. Alex Davis caught behind on 24, and then the next ball cleaned up Rob Jones as well to put himself on a hat-trick, which he couldn't complete. He also had Davis dropped off the first ball of the over as well at first slip by Ricky Vessels, but it wasn't too damaging for Worcestershire. Parnell has bowled splendidly. He's got 2 for 3 in his third over now. Lancashire replying to Worcestershire's all-out 98 are 38 for 3. Get runs here as well. Livingston, he'll get off the mark with 2 down to third man. Ed Barnard loses his cap in the sprint with Josh Dell, and there's 2 more to the total. And we've seen Josh come back into the side as well, Ben, in this game. He's got that half century on debut against Durham, and then through no fault of his own had to sort of bide his time again, and then he's come back in, and well, I felt a bit sorry for action in the first innings as Parnell bowls. This is whipped nicely by Livingston through the mid-wicket. There's no run because he was set up by Mahmood. It was a fantastic piece of bowling in the end. But again, he showed in that application of 18 when wickets were falling all around him. But you know, he has got something about him.
Yeah, he definitely has. I think he's shown that in especially the Durham game, where it was such a hard environment to bat, and it was slow, and it was one of them where you had to really dig in. And
Parnell bowls, and this is on the drive from Livingston.
And he showed that he's got the temperament for first class cricket, I think. And it's sometimes that's just the way of the game. You get left out for no fault of your own. It's balance of the side, conditions, someone might be injured. It's just, I know first hand as a spinner you could get a 5 for and be left out because you're playing away on a green seamer. It's just the way that the side's picked, and that's kind of cricket.
Yeah. Here's Parnell, past the umpire, left arm round the wicket and wide of the crease. Livingston is on the walk slightly as he drives it back up to the bowler, and he's fields it on his follow through, 40 for 3. And I guess he would have learned something as well from that, because obviously he's still a young man, and he's got to open the innings as opposed to when he got his half century. He was down at 5. It was a very different game for him, and facing Jimmy Anderson, one of the all-time greats with a new ball in his hand. And they've taken a lot out of that first innings, I think. Here's Parnell, the right-handed Livingston, who's defending back up the pitch, covering up off stump, and there's no run. The end of the over, 40 for 3. Parnell 3 overs, 1 maiden, 2 for 5 now. I guess that's what the young players will try and take out of every game.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's the thing that's quite probably surreal about the situation he was in, is that you watch Jimmy Anderson on TV in Test match cricket and you never think that you're going to be opening the batting against him, and he's obviously England's greatest ever fast bowler, and you're in your second first class game. It's tough, but then that's the environment that you're in, and that's why you play professional sport, because of moments like that, really.
Yeah.
And he'd have learned a lot, and I know Josh well, and he'd have loved it. He'd have loved that environment, just what he thrives upon, so it's been good for him.
Yeah, it would have been a real telling your grandkids about, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
If he'd have got 100,
Yeah.
or even half century off Jimmy Anderson, down
especially
the line.
when wickets are falling at the other end and you're still in, you're thinking I must be doing something right.
Yeah, it was impressive.
Well, Adam Finch is coming on from the New Road end now. He makes Hamid wasn't ready for him. Perhaps one of the few people in the ground was moving.
So what can we expect from Adam Finch then, Ben?
He's a good young fast bowler, so I think you'll see a bit of pace. If everything clicks, he can be quick. He's one of the quickest that we've got in the squad. He also can move it off the pitch, and he's 6 foot plenty. So
he's in again, trying now for the first ball. Hamid waits, and again big stride forward and a slightly extravagant leave. Finch just has a look at his landing area.
Because he's what, 19, I think, is he?
19. England under 19, and not really played a lot of second team cricket. When he does play, and because he's aware the England under 19s did really well on that World Cup, and when he has played, he's impressed, and I think he's going to be a good fast bowler.
Coming in now up to the crease, and that one does seem to nip through with a bit of pace, and Hamid lets it go past, brings the bat inside. He doesn't seem to motor in his run-up. It's quite a casual run-up for the pace he's generating, isn't it?
It is, and he has a little start, double leg wiggle of his hips, and he goes in. It's unorthodox.
It's quite deliberate. It's almost
like
he's focusing on a spot on the ground.
I think he does. He's got something on his boots, I know that.
And he starts in now, up past the umpire and bowls, and that's a good ball. Hamid plays inside that one. A round of applause for that one in the ground.
Started really well. It's the most nerve-wracking thing that you have to do, is bowl your first ball in first class cricket.
I was going to say I can imagine, but I can't at all.
I can remember mine, and it wasn't the best.
Will he also, like you say, like Dale will have enjoyed Monday, will Adam Finch be enjoying this?
Yeah, he will.
He will. Character.
Yeah, he is. He's quite a contained character, so he won't be away with the clouds. And
starts in now, past the umpire and releases, and makes Hamid play at this one as he defends it on the offside. No run.
But he'll definitely be excited. I think everyone is in that situation. When you get handed your cap and it all becomes a bit more real, you're definitely excited, and you've just got to do what you've done to get to this position in the first place.
He's looking like he's keeping very focused. He doesn't sort of want to catch the captain's eye or anything. He's going back to his mark, keeping his head down.
He's probably a bit nervous still.
And he's into ball again, and once again makes Hamid play, defends this. High elbow, up by his head, no run.
Well, it's a big day for him, because it's not as if this is his county championship debut, is it? I mean, this is his debut full stop.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's a massive day, and I think the build-up is actually better than the day itself in a weird way, because you know that you're going to play, because you can tell, you get the sense.
He's into complete is over. Hamid waits, and that just goes backward of square on, and no run. So a maiden to start proceedings off for Adam Finch. Say on debut, so that will settle the nerves somewhat.
The build-up of in the dressing room and training, you kind of get a sense that you're going to play, and when it actually comes around, it all happens so fast that the build-up's actually the best bit. So,
are your teammates supportive, or they wind you up?
A bit of both. It depends who you're talking to or about, I guess. No, they are supportive, and it is really nice when you do get your cap and everyone congratulates you and makes you feel like, because it is a massive achievement, but it makes you feel like sense of achievement. So
yeah, for sure. Number 518 on his cap today, as Parnell starts a new over from the Diglis end, the right-handed Livingston, who turns this into mid-wicket, and there's no run. So how long did it take? The first one came out a little bit dodgy for you. How long did it take before it was starting to feel second nature then on your debut?
I don't think it has felt second nature since. My first over, was at Rory Burns
Right.
on probably, I think it was day 1 or 2, so it was a flat pitch at the Oval, and
Thanks for coming.
yeah, it was one of them that this is first class cricket now.
Parnell bowls, Livingston drives. Again, he has that little shuffle and walk forward up to Joe Leach at mid-on, and there's no run.
I can remember I probably bowled about 4 spells. I ended up bowling 30 overs because it was flat and we couldn't really bowl them out. And Burns got 100, and I think my second spell onwards was where it was actually like, right, I'm settled now. I think my first spell of 5-6 overs before lunch was...
Parnell bowls, and he's flashing this straight at Ed Barnard at point is Liam Livingston. Won't get a run. Good stop by Barnard. 40 for 3.
Just a bit nerve-wracking, I think. And it's a packed out oval is a great place to play on a bank holiday. It was sunny and there was quite a few people in, so I think it was just settling the nerves.
I suppose everybody's different, aren't they? But were you one of those, or are you one of those people that as soon as you're out there, as soon as you get that first over, whatever it is, the nerves kind of melt away a little bit as Parnell bowls, driven by Livingston? That's a nice stroke. Finally got one where he wanted it and pushed back up past the bowler. Leach gives chase, but he's not going to cut it off. Nice on drive from Liam Livingston. 44 for 3. Livingston up to 6 with that boundary.
That was a good shot on the up past the bowler. I think I'm generally, once I get the first ball out the way,
it's a lot better.
Whether it's batting or bowling, I just feel like I'm alright by then. I can remember it's the same at school. I used to do a lot of acting on stage, and if I didn't get my first line out, it was never a good play.
Parnell bowls. This one rears up at Livingston, and then he adjusts quick enough onto the back foot, steers it down to Ed Barnard at point. Again, no run. So an actor as well.
Well, trying. I used to try anyway.
Shred the boards in your spare time?
Not really, not anymore. Not anymore. Gone away from it. I do love it though. I do like going down to London watching productions still. So.
Here's Parnell. Final ball of his 4th over. Livingston again attempts the drive. Doesn't get that out in the middle of the bat though. Comes off the toe end, if anything. Straight out to Joe Leach at mid-on. Who gives the ball a vigorous rub on the front of his jumper. 44 for 3. 16 overs gone now in this Lancashire reply. Worcestershire all out for 98 on day 1. A lot of rain has fallen since they were all out, and the resumption of the match at 2 this afternoon. 44 for 3 though.
Yeah, Finch will continue. I'm fascinated by you treading the boards as a youngster and doing a bit of acting, because I'll come back to it. It's Finch in from the New Road end, bowling to Hamid. And that pops a little bit, and Hamid plays forward. The ball loops down to Gully, and there's no run. Because I listened to Michael Vaughan a few weeks ago, and he was talking about the art of captaincy. And he said, as far as he was concerned, a huge part of the job was acting. Pretending that you knew what to do, or at least what the right decision was to make, and then convince everybody that was the right thing to do. And he went, it's a big part of it, trying to fool people, trying to act out like you absolutely certain this is the right course to take. There's Finch into Hamid, that's whipped into the onside, it bounces in front of mid-wicket, and Hamid gets a single. He moves to 7, score moves to 45 for 3. So those skills might come back to help you in your cricketing career down the line.
I guess so, and I think a lot of the time you've got to give off the impression that you know what you're doing, even if you don't. You have to.
Blagging it. Everyone's blagging it, Ben. Everybody.
Absolutely, I'm blagging it right now. So it is. You have to do that, and when you're bowling out there, it is a bit of a theatre, and you have to try and make an environment where there's a bit of atmosphere.
There's Finch to Livingston. Livingston tucks it into the onside, no run. Yeah, a bit like. Was there anyone better at creating that theatre than Shane Warne?
No one.
Was he kind of the master of it?
He was the best, and obviously it helped that he was the best bowler of leg spin ever.
Yeah.
But you still have to create an environment where when you could be competitive, and if that's how you do it, by creating an atmosphere and a bit of theatre, then you stick to that and you go with it.
I suppose when so much of the game's played in the mind, that is a big part of it. Finch to Livingston, who's in behind defensively and pushing him back down the pitch, and there's no run.
So have you been working on your psychological armoury then?
I have.
Back out there for
I
next
have.
season,
Yeah, I'm gonna be ready. I'm not sure I'll be ready with ball or bat in hand, but I'll be psyched.
You'll have the lines.
Yeah, I'll be
have
there.
The lines tucked away. Good.
I'll be blagging it again.
Finch at 45 for 3. Livingston is unbeaten on 6. 2 slips away. Finch bowls. Livingston again in behind. Sound off the bat. That is crunched up to mid-on, where Leach fields, and there is no run.
But Worcestershire supporters of a certain vintage, and sadly I'm in that vintage, there's definitely a whiff of Phil Newport about young Adam Finch on that final follow through. He's obviously a good deal quicker than Phil Newport, but yeah, there's definitely a resemblance.
Finch into Livingston. That's pulled through the onside. That's 4 runs for Livingston. It was quite a meaty blow from Livingston, swivelling back and pulling it through mid-wicket to take him into double figures. He moves up to 10. It's the end of the 17th over, and the score moves on to 49 for 3.
Yeah, it shows there's not a massive amount of pace in the pitch there, wasn't it? He really banged that one in, and it sat up, and Livingston had plenty of time.
He was quick onto it, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I don't think that's quite the length. I don't think he probably intentionally meant to bowl that length. I think if you're going to go short, you go real short. It was just in between. But at least you know now that he's going to probably pitch it up from now on in. So.
Worth trying though.
Yeah,
Batsman
exactly.
to think about something else. 49 for 3. Parnell then from the digless end bowls left arm round the wicket to the right-handed Hamid, who's forward, having a good sniff at that one on its way through. Plays no stroke. That's 7 from 37 deliveries, and it's been a very careful, measured approach so far from Hamid.
Yeah, he won't be too concerned about that.
No.
That's kind of well within his comfort zone. 7 from 37. Staying in. He'll want to be back in the bulk of these overs today, will Hamid. That will be his main priority.
Dell goes in at gully, strengthening the close catches. Forward comes Hamid. Jabs it out to Ed Barnard at cover point, and there's no run. Was he still called Baby Boycott? That was his early moniker, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, I think that was after he'd played for England, so I think some of the TMS boys nicknamed him that.
Right.
I think prior to his international breakthrough, he was referred to as the Bolton Wall, or the Bolton Blocker. That was also another one that I heard.
Here's Parnell, past the umpire, bowls, and he'll pick up runs here. It's through the slip cordon, all the way along the ground. Darryl Mitchell loses his green cap as he gives chase, pulls it up 5 yards or so inside the boundary rope. They're back for a second run. The 50 is up for Lancashire, 51 for 3.
The Bolton Wall fitted a lot better than the Bolton Blocker, which did him a huge disservice in 2016 because he got enormous amounts of runs in that debut season for him.
It's not really a nickname that you want there. You don't want that to stick.
Utterly unfair as well.
Blocker. You don't even want to be from Bolton, never mind be called the Bolton Blocker.
Parnell is beating the batsman on the front foot. This next ball through to Bangkok's 51 for 3.
Half this Lancashire lot are from Bolton.
I know.
There's loads of them. The Bolton Mafia in the Lancashire dressing room.
God help them.
Dravid was called the Wall. Was it Dravid was called the Wall?
Yeah. Well, that's better, isn't it? The Bolton Wall.
That's better.
Yeah.
Much better. Yeah. Parnell bowls to the Hamid, who comes forward on the drive. It's a good tumbling stop, or take rather, from Bangkok's, but some stifled appeals from the Worcestershire slip cordon, more in hope than any great expectation of the finger of Rob Bailey being raised. 51 for 3. Maybe it was the sound of bat on ground that got them excited. I mean, still there on 9 from 41. Last ball of Parnell's 5th over on the way. Turning just by the pyramid of sawdust. Here he comes, bowls. Forward comes Hamid, down into the onside towards mid-wicket. Picked up by Charlie Morris. End of the over. 51 for 3 in reply to Worcestershire's 98 all out. 18 overs gone. We have another 46 planned for today.
Yes, light and weather permitting, I guess. I mean, it doesn't look particularly bright at the minute, does it really?
No.
It looks like it could rain.
It does.
At any point in time.
It does.
But it has done all day, really.
Yeah, and we haven't had a single drop, have we,
No,
today?
not today.
We're just waiting for the outfield to dry out. Finch in again to Livingston. It's on the front foot, attempting to drive. It comes off a thick edge and down through the hands of Ferguson at gully and down towards the boundary. But it has reached the rope as well, despite... Is that Ed Barnard there that's chasing after that? It's a valiant effort from Barnard, but it is 4 runs off a thickish edge from Livingston, and he moves to 14, and the score advances on to 55 for 3.
Has Ed been talking about his attempts to ramp Jimmy Anderson on day one, Ben, at all?
I've not brought it up with him yet. I think I might be going round to his tonight for some food, so I might.
I'd give it a mention.
Yeah, I'm not sure what I'm going to say though.
I believe he mastered it.
Finch over the wicket to Livingston, who punches to mid on no run.
How's the practice going? Is how I would open it, really.
I think he is good at it. It is a strength, but
the ball move,
I'm just not sure why, to be honest. And I'll ask him and I'll let you know. Might be one of them, I might ask it on eggshells.
Yeah, keep your distance.
Yeah, I'll have my food first.
Side,
so
yeah, definitely have dinner first.
Then volunteer to wash up or something afterwards. Finch to Livingston, and that's driven again to mid-off, and there's no run. 55 for 3.
Because Jimmy had a bit of a word with him as well when he was batting, didn't he, earlier on?
Yeah.
I think he'd put him through the covers before or something, and Anderson definitely had quite a long chirp at the end of the over.
He does that. He does that. I just don't think it'd be the choice of shot I'd be going for, to be honest, against Jimmy Anderson.
Even at 9 down.
Yeah.
Finch from the new road end, balls to Livingston, who leads the spot it through to Cox, and there's no run. I am fascinated by Finch and his start to his run.
I am equally.
I'm loving this. So this is his debut, isn't it?
Yeah,
it is debut full stop. He's getting a warning here though from the umpire. He had a quick look in his last over, a little friendly wander down, just to nudge the ball that he was getting close to the line of the stumps, and that's the first official warning.
He kind of crouches down. He's looking at the ground. His knees slightly bent, well balanced, crouching down almost, and then upright and in and bowling a fullish ball on off stump, which is driven by Livingston, but to extra cover there's no run. That is unique. I've not seen that before.
It is unique. He's the only person that I've seen do it, and he, all jokes aside, actually has something written on his boots.
Does he?
Oh, right, okay.
Is it a motivational thing?
I think so. I can't say what it says.
Fair enough.
I've not looked that intensely at his boots, but he does have something on there.
He's back in again to complete the over, and Livingston shoulders arms through to Ben Cox. End of the over, 3 gone, 55 for 3. I'd be fascinated to know how long he's been doing that for. I mean, that's something he's done like for years as a kid growing up.
Yeah, I think when he got on to England in 19, his run-up's changed a bit, and I think it's just to reset him at the start, like a batter would. Like, remember when Trott used to do his left foot and back through the thing and have his massive guard trough? He has the same thing. I think it just resets him, and I think it's something to do with his best ball. Bowl your best ball on his boots. When he has 10 pairs of boots, it's a lot of writing, I think. Takes
bowl your
some
best
time.
ball, wow.
Good job he bats 11 and not opening the bat, and he won't have any time.
Well, if it works for him, fair enough.
He must have wide feet. 55 for 3. He's got to be careful because he's had a warning for running down the pitch. Change of bowling. Parnell has been replaced by Ed Barnard from the Diglis end, which has just been acknowledged now. 55 for 3.
I quite like what Joss Butler has written on his back. Now, it's not for broadcast. You can't say it. But there's a particular... Have you seen it?
No.
come back to it.
Here's Barnard, past the umpire, bowls, and shuffling forward as Hamid plays no stroke.
So he's written a little phrase on his bat, which we can't broadcast, but maybe it just sums up the attitude of going out there and having a risk-free approach to it.
I think I know.
Carefree approach to it.
Yeah, I think I know.
You know what I mean? Let's just go out there and enjoy it and not worry about it too much.
Yeah.
Well paraphrased.
Thank you.
Barnard bowls. This will be runs here for Hamid. It's not picked up cleanly by Adam Finch at mid-wicket. And they're through for a single, 56 for 3. Anything written on your boots, Ben?
No.
Not yet.
Not yet. I don't think there will be, to be honest. I don't have a long enough run-up. Once I get there, I'll get told to get through the overs.
Here's Barnard, bowls, and Livingston takes a couple of steps down the pitch before he's released the ball. But Barnard has fired it in at his shins, and it's steered out towards Joe Leach at mid-on, and there's no run. 56 for 3. Barnard turns, here he comes from the Douglas end, and again Livingston goes for that little walk forward. There's a big shout for LBW, but he's a long way down. May well have struck him outside the line as well. Umpire unmoved. Off-putting though, isn't it, when you're running in and the batsman's giving you the charge?
Interested to see how he actually played, because it's not his natural trigger movement. He's actually just taking it a bit to the bowlers.
Oh, he's again. And he's beaten this time. Nice reply from Ed Barnard. Kept it there. And Livingston on the walk. He's had a little bit of a nibble at that one. And a moral victory, if nothing else, from Ed Barnard as he takes his cap and his jumper from the umpire. End of his first over. 2 runs coming from it. Lancashire chasing down Worcestershire's first innings of 98 all out. 57 for 3. The men to go. Keaton Jennings, LBW to Joe Leach for 6. Alex Davis caught Ben Cox, bowled Wayne Parnell for 24, and then 1 ball later Rob Jones cleaned up by Parnell, cracking delivery from round the wicket, held its line, and he was on a hat-trick. Livingston safely negotiated that delivery.
Finch bowls to Hamid, who once again gets a big stride in, lets that go through. It's like he's about to do squats or something, isn't it, at the start?
Yeah, it is. We've just been speaking about it.
Like a gym action.
It's
like you say, if it concentrates into the mind, and that's his.
And
everybody's got their own unique.
Everyone's so different when you speak to people, and you wouldn't actually think we're all playing the same sport, because it's that different what people do and think.
I'll need that. He just calms any nerves on debut. Finch again to Hamid and makes him play this time and just gets a bat down on it.
The only other sportsman I've seen do something that exaggerated would have been Johnny Wilkinson. Time where he was kicking his goals
with the hands as well.
Yeah, it's that sort of noticeable, isn't it? Really.
Yeah, I think it just sets him up to have a clear mind when he's running in and
get the previous ball fall out of his mind.
Be the ball.
An update for BBC Hereford and Worcester's FM listeners on the way shortly. Well, Lancashire have moved on to 58 for 3 in reply to Worcestershire's 98 all out. So we have 44 overs remaining in the day. We're in the halfway through the 21st over, being bowled by the debutant Adam Finch, who's impressed with his pace. He has already been warned though for running too close to the line of the stumps, so he's got to be careful about that. Wayne Parnell has got 2 quick wickets. He put himself on a hat-trick after he dismissed Alex Davis, caught behind for 24, and then bowled Rob Jones the next delivery for a duck. Keaton Jennings, and the first to go, LBW to Joe Leach for 6, as Worcestershire did try their best to get back into this game after such a low first innings total, but they are doing all they can at the moment. Lancashire rebuilding, 58 for 3 in the 21st over.
And Hamid has hit that one out through the covers. That'll be 4 runs to him. They've almost pulled up, but not quite, as he gets a boundary from that delivery from Finch. Out just on the 7 side, in front of the scoreboard, and just past it.
He rode the bounce really well in that, didn't he, Hamid? He got onto his toes, kept it down, timed it beautifully out through the covers.
He's certainly been very watchful since he's come into the crease at number 3. Taking his time. 16 from 50 for him. Finch, as you say, sets himself again for this final delivery to Hamid. He waits, right arm over, and just leans forward, but no contact. Cox takes that one behind the stumps. 62 for 3 at the end of that one.
And of course, Ben, that Adam is the latest cab off the rank, but this fertile fast bowling academy that Worcester just keep on churning them out and out and out, and then we've still got Dylan Pennington to come back into the reckoning as well, and I understand he's pretty close now to first team contention.
Yeah, and I'm not sure what gets put in the water in Worcester, because he's making everyone grow 6 foot and bowl fast.
They're big boys. Barnard starting a new over. He's turned to mid-wicket on the full by Liam Livingston, but there's no run.
But we've got a good academy system here, run for Elliot Wilson, and Juicy with his strength and conditioning gets them in a place where they can bowl fast. They're big boys and they're built big, and it's a good place to be.
Barnard bowls to Livingston, again comes forward a couple of steps but drills it back to the bowler, and there's no run.
With someone like Dylan waiting in the wings, just coming back from fitness, if he was playing last year, he was in our 4 bowlers that you picked most weeks.
Yep.
With the way he performed and the spell he bowled at Scarborough to Kane Williamson, and it was...
Barnard bowls, Livingston comes forward, leaves alone outside the off stump. Yeah, it left an impression on...
absolutely, yeah.
On the New Zealander, certainly, didn't it?
Yeah, it did, and I think that just shows that how good of a talent he actually is, and to have him fit, and to have a pick between Finch, Pennington, Morris, Leach, Barnard, Tong, Scrimshaw when he's fit, is pretty lucky, I think.
Here's Barnard, bowls, Livingston drives, outside edge, but it's not in the air for very long at all. He squirts it out towards cover point. Josh Dell gives chase on the slide, hurls it back in, but they are back for a couple. 64 for 3. Livingston joins Hamid now on 16. Of course, you've got Pat Brown as part of the equation as well.
Yeah, of course. Forget about him sometimes, if he's not really in the immediate picture, but he's the leading wicket taker in the Vitality Blast last year.
Barnard bowls, that's a cracking ball. Livingston beaten all ends up there, slightly squared up as well to one that left him off a decent length, and that really reared up through to Cox. Nice reply from Ed Barnard, 64 for 3. Yeah, we know that he's had his injury problems as well, Pat Brown. I mean, that's the problem. It's as hard as it's ever been being a tall, fast bowler, isn't it, these days? Trying to stay fit. Here's Barnard, past the umpire at bowls. Livingston tries to tickle this one down the leg side. It's a no ball.
And that's the hardest thing, staying fit is tough, and I'm not 6'6" and bowl 90 mile an hour, but I can only imagine how much that actually takes a toll on their bodies, and you're going to have to kind of get used to being out for periods of time, because it's quite unnatural really to hurl it down that fast.
For sure, yeah. Barnard bowls. On the drive is Livingston again. It's very outside edgy, but fortunately for him it's not in the air. It's beaten backward point out to the fence. Josh Dell gives chase. end of the over. Slightly fortuitous, streaky boundary for Liam Livingston, takes him up to 20. Lancashire at 70 for 3. Well, I suppose if Worcestershire can get the young guys all fit, at least it gives them the option to rotate, doesn't it? And
absolutely, yeah. And it gives the option to rotate, and it gives healthy competition, which is going to make any athlete thrive in that environment, because that's why we play for competition and the sport. So it'd be nice to have everyone fit at the same time and see who actually gets in our 4 or 5, depends on the balance of the side teamers that we're going to play.
Finch's debut spell has come to an end. He's been replaced by Morris with Lancashire 70 for 3. I spoke to Glenn Chappell about this very subject actually last night, about having the ability to kind of rotate your seam bowlers. Lancashire have left Tom Bailey and Richard Gleeson out of this game just to rest them basically. But I mean, they've got the options of doing that, as Morris comes in and bowls to Hamid, and that's left by Hamid, gathered by Ben Cox, and there is no run. But it's a long old season, isn't it? And as you say, when you're playing a lot of cricket over a 6-month period, you're going to pick up injuries if you keep flogging your body again. Yeah, and
I think that's the beauty of having players waiting in the wings and a big squad of fast bowlers. Like Tom Bailey was unbelievable last year. He's the hardest bowler to face in county cricket, and he's not even playing today.
Here's Morris to Hamid, and striding forward, whipping the bat away and through to Cox, and there's no run.
So if you can have someone waiting that you can go, right, you're going to play this game, and you know that they're going to fire the same as the person who you're taking out, you're in a great position.
Do players see it like that though? Because I guess players just want to play, don't they?
Yeah, all players want to play, but you understand, and sometimes you feel like, well, I don't feel it, but I've heard the fast bowlers feel like I could do with a rest, and their body's tired, and they know that, and they understand their own body.
Morris to Hamid, onto the front foot, and with throw in the back, gathered by Cox. Again, there's no run with a dot ball, 70 for 3.
But you understandably feel like you need a rest on a flat one at the Oval. Not a sunny day.
You can take a rest. That's when your body hurts the most, I think. But you do know, and as much as, even if you're run down and you're tired because you bowled a lot of overs, if you get asked to play, you're obviously going to play and give it everything, and you don't really think about it. But I think that's when it just comes to man management, of knowing your players, the players knowing their own body.
There's Morris, and Hamid drives, and that's well stopped. It's extra cover by Josh Dell, no run.
And without trying to make you feel worse than you do already, Ben, by not being out and not being able to play, in your position in terms of being a spinner, you know, if you were fit in there, and obviously if the conditions were right for spinners to play, you'd know that you'd be sort of right up there in terms of being the number one spinner here.
Yeah, I think that's what's quite nice about the position I'm in. If I was fit, I'd like to think if I was bowling well enough, I'd have played quite a few of the games already.
Morris back into Hamid, forward in defence, no run.
But with New Road being like New Road is, there's only been Saeed Ajmal that's ever bowled here and torn it apart really as a spinner. And with Moeen coming back now and again, you then get left out. Conditions is really your biggest threat. And obviously George Rhodes and Brett D'Oliveira bowl spin and bat in the top 6, so sometimes they can go with them because they need the batter and then someone to fill a few overs here and there. It's all a lot to do with the situation and the balance of the side, and hopefully the pitch is bare and it spins and I can play.
Morris back in, Hamid turning it into the onside, just playing across his pads and angling it out to mid-wicket, and there's no run. It's the end of the over. Hamid remains on 16 and Lancashire are 70 for 3.
Yes, not too much to encourage spinners today though.
I'd have had my hands firmly in my pockets, I think.
Yeah.
And hopefully not
Cold.
to the first slip.
No. Overcast, cold, dreary, wet.
That's not when I want to be chucked the ball, to be honest.
70 for 3. Here's Ed Barnard from the Diglis end again, and on a drive is Liam Livingston. Not for the first time we've seen that stroke, and not for the first time it's flown rather uncontrollably off the outside edge. That was in the air for quite a long time, but Josh Dell not close enough to it at a backward point gully position, and that's flashed away down to the third man boundary. A 4-4 for Liam Livingston. A save for that one pull over mid-wicket. I think the other 3 have kind of been a bit streaky, but 4 more in the book for him. Lancashire 74 for 3, closing in on that Worcestershire first innings total of 98. Livingston up to 24 now. Barnard bowls to him, and he's shuffling forward, squeezing it out into the offside. Dell fields one-handed, and there's no run.
Yeah, it must be deeply frustrating for especially this part of the season now, because when the fixtures were released and you see so many games at this part of the year, like Matt Parkinson for example at Lancashire, looking at kind of 9 games in May into June into July.
Barnard past the umpire, bowled short, and this is a great shot by Livingston. He was on that in a flash, picking up the length very, very quickly, and he's just heaving that for 6 over mid-wicket in front of the Cathedral. Terrific shot, really quick footwork to get him into that position for the stroke, and he's just smashed it away. 80 for 3, Livingston up to 30 now.
Parkinson's probably thinking, I'm going to play in quite a lot of those games, and he's not played in one yet because it's just not really been conducive for him to be picked.
Exactly. And
here's Barnard. What reply has he got? Defending slightly on the walk again. Livingston back up the pitch, and there's no run.
And that's why it's hard, because if you actually step back and look at all the games around the counties, there's probably only 2 spinners that play all the time, and that's Cheatham Patel and Simon Harmer, and they're both international spinners. So for young spinners and spinners that are not as...
Barnard in, bowls wide outside the off stump, left alone, and there's no run.
Not as good as them or as prestigious as them, then you've got to play when you can, really. Just try and get in at any point and take your opportunity. And I know Matt really well, and he actually does that. He's taken a lot of wickets, and he's shown that. And Old Trafford obviously spins, so he's going to get the opportunities, but you have to take your opportunity.
Barnard past the umpire, bowls. Livingston on the drive again. He takes one hand off his top hand off the bat as he goes through with the stroke, but he hits Dell at backward point. End of the over. 3 overs, none for 19 now, Ed Barnard. Lancashire 80 for 3, with Livingston on 30 and Hamid on 16, so just 18 runs behind now on first innings. 24 overs gone, 40 remain in the day.
Yeah, be a lot of spinners that be waiting for the T20 to start, I guess, and Parkinson's one of them.
I think so, yeah. And then you tend to see you go from either playing no spinner or a spinner that bats in the top 6 or a world-class spinner to playing 3 or 4 spinners in T20 cricket. So that's kind of where your spinners win you a lot of the games in T20 cricket. And Parky did really well last year for Lancs.
Here's Morris, New Road End, Hamid waiting, balls to Hamid, he's defending to mid-on, no run.
Because in the inception of T20, everyone thought that spinners were going to absolutely hate it, and thought who's going to be a spinner when it's flying to wall parks. But it's fascinating to see the evolution of the game and how important spinners have become for T20s.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's really where your battle, it's a quick battle, it's not this long, slow battle of 4-day cricket.
There's Morris to Hamid, forward defending again, no run.
That you're having to set someone up and you've got men around the bat and you bowl into a 10 over plan. You've got 4 overs to try literally not get whacked out of the ground.
So how does your bowling change then through different formats?
I try and change my pace as much as possible in one-day cricket. Pace, and it's every ball's just an event because they are trying to hit you out of the ground and you've got to stop that and contain them.
Morris over the wicket, Hamid forward with bat in front of pad again, defending to mid-on, no run.
So for me, you can hit the stumps as much as possible, and I had that chat with Simon Harmer at the end of last year when we were at Essex, and we had 20 minutes and he basically just said you got to hit the stumps all the time. Hit the stumps, change your pace, especially as a left arm spinner, and you've got your field set pretty generically in front of square. So if you're bowling straight, they're going to hit you straight. If they go across the line, they miss it, they're out.
Morris and Hamid leads again through to the keeper, no run.
And try and keep it as simple as possible. Hit the stumps, hit a forward defensive as much as possible, and change your pace. And if someone has their day, they're going to whack you out the ground no matter who you are.
That's interesting. Yeah, that's interesting how it changes. It's literally about pace on the ball and accuracy, stumps.
Yeah, and it's the same
So
with
you forget
4-day
ideas
cricket.
about variations and things like that.
For me, yeah, because
Yeah.
I don't, unless it's 4-day cricket and I'll bowl an arm ball that hopefully will swing. I can't bowl a doozer or a carom ball because I'm not quite there yet.
There's Morris back in. Hamid waits and then whips it into the onside, not quite timed, and squirts out to mid-wicket, no run.
So if you can make the batsman hit you instead of the classic 4 and over that's a couple of cuts and a couple of half volleys, it's actually not putting them under any pressure. Whereas if they can use their feet, come down the wicket and hit to long off, then at least you've made them do something, which could go wrong, which could then lead to you winning that one-on-one battle.
Because with batsmen now switch hitting, changing their
Yeah.
stance, that's a nightmare.
It is. It is.
There's Morris, final ball of the over. Hamid drives down the ground, beats the dive of mid-on, and mid-off will chase after it, and Hamid gets through for one, down towards the boundary rope and
He's got that.
scooped in. Excellent stuff by Ross Whiteley. Really good piece of work. Second time down here this boundary by Whiteley in this innings.
That's the fastest I've ever seen him move.
That's the end of the over. 82 for 3 at the end of it.
He's turning into a long chase specialist.
He is.
Ross Whiteley.
He won't like
This
it.
game.
He won't choose to be one of them, I can tell you.
Effective again, 82 for 3.
I think you do. Well, I know that when we sit in the meetings that we have about batsmen before a one-day game, the first question that I'll ask, or George or Dolly, will be like, does he reverse sweep? Because that's just the one thing you need to know. Everyone can play straight, everyone can pretty much sweep conventionally. It's just, does he reverse sweep? Because then if he does, you just put 2 fielders there and don't even let him do it. Some people are different. Dolly likes to let him do it. I personally don't, because I just think if they do it, they're going to do it regardless, and they're going to hit it more often than not.
Barnard starts a new over from the Diglis end. Cox is up to the stumps now. Stuck the helmet on. Got one brilliant leg side stumping in the Durham game. I forget who it was against. Down the legs. Forget who the batsman was. Down the leg side off Ed Barnard. It was from this end now, I seem to remember. The New Road end. 2 slips though. Still in position as Worcestershire hunt more wickets here. Barnard bowls. And onto the back foot goes Livingston, and there's no run. Do you know, Ben, if their keepers are still working with James Foster, or has that come to an end now?
They are.
They are still.
Yeah, they are. He don't know when he's actually in, but he comes in.
Yeah.
And I've seen him. And they've been doing some work.
Yeah.
I don't know much about the cricket side of things, to be honest, at the moment, but I've seen people around.
Barnard past the umpire bowls. Livingston up onto his toes, defending out to mid-off, and there's no run. Because I read that they'd hired him on a freelance basis now that he's newly retired. He's now set himself up as a freelance keeping coach.
Yeah.
And he was here at the start of the season. I was wondering how long that sort of association might last. But it's good to hear. As Barnard bowls, short outside the off stump, taken by Cox, and there's no run.
Yeah, he is good, and Cox is a brilliant keeper, and,
Yeah.
and has been for a very long time. And it's not the first time we've seen him do them leg side stumping.
No, he's had that in his locker a while, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has, and he's great, especially as a spinner, to have him behind the stumps. You know that he picks up on stuff really quickly as well.
Barnard past the umpire bowls, up onto his toes, on the back foot goes Livingston. It's a good punch as well out towards the mid-off boundary. Wayne Parnell gives chase. He'll pull it in a few yards before it goes into the rope. They're back for a second run. Livingston now up for 32. 84 for 3 as Lancashire close in on Worcestershire's first innings total of 98. Yeah, it must give you a lot of a security, sense of well-being to have a decent keeper. Or a keeper as good as Ben Cox. All keepers at this level are decent, but
Yeah.
as good as Cox is.
It really does, and we've had conversations in one-day cricket and even in first-class cricket. If someone's running down the wicket, there tends to be like a clear pattern, and sometimes in one-day cricket they'll run down the first ball of every over, and he'll pick that up after four overs, and he'll say just chuck it wide, see what happens, because he might not, but if he runs down, you know that if you chuck it wide at any pace, anywhere, he's going to take the bails off. So he's really good, and he's good for also your pace, because he sees you bowl a lot. He might sometimes just say it's a bit quick or it's a bit slow, because sometimes you can't really.
There's Morris to Hamid, trying to cut that down to third man, but rolls off the face of the bat and stopped at backward point by Barnard, no run.
Do you ever say to him, nah, it's a rubbish idea?
Sometimes, but I think we got that relationship that I'll just be like, because if he dances down, it hits me over extra cover for 6. It's not your figures, it's mine.
Exactly, yeah.
But you got to have that trust, and he trusts me. I think to make the right decision, I trust him. So
it's good to hear.
Here's Morris bowling. Hamid right forward in defence, pushing it and into the covers. Dell fields, no run, 84 for 3. Hamid on 18 and Livingston on 32. In reply to that 98 all out, which feels like about 3.5 years ago.
It was, Scott, that's why.
Right, I wondered why that was feeling a long time ago. And 98 all out. But we've got some play, and hopefully, if the weather behaves, we've got quite a decent chunk of cricket to go today. Morris just pulls away. And he was running in. I think it was Morris first rather than Hamid pulling away. So something didn't quite feel right. He jogs back to his mark, a little pile of sawdust. Bowling from the New Road end to the Cathedral out to his left-hand side. He's got Hamid on strike, 2 slips, gully, point, extra cover, mid-off, and mid-wicket, and fine leg. And a ball which is wide and signalled as a wide. Quite sure what happened there. I'm presuming that slipped out of his hand.
I think he's struggling with the footholds.
Oh, right.
Just scratching away. Because I know that when Finch is stopped, sometimes when you get into your bound and it's not quite comfortable, you can pull out. But I think he's half pulled out and half bowled.
So he's kind of, I see what you mean, yeah. He's half wanted to stop.
To stop, but I think he's got so far, he just let the ball go and it's gone.
You know, they're using that sawdust now to kind of work on the footmarks. So maybe just a little bit soft underfoot. I mean, obviously it was soft. The outfield was wet, and we've had to wait until 2:10 for the umpires to deem it suitable to play. So it might be a little soft for the bowlers.
That could be on Twitter later.
Do you see the deep decline delivery from last week? Which was, again, a rather bizarre looking delivery. Here's Morris. What can he bowl this time? He's bringing Hamid right forward again, defending firmly to mid-off, and there's no run. 85 for 3 it remains. Hamid on 18 and Livingston unbeaten on 32. Day 3 of the Specsavers County Championship Division 2 fixture between two teams who will fancy their chances of winning a promotion this season. Both relegated from Division 1 last season. Lancashire top of the division at the moment. And it's Hamid again, he's forward but not offering a shot this time, and the ball passes by through to Ben Cox and there is no run.
In terms of the division this year, Ben, what's the thinking about how competitive it is? Because it's one of the things that's been labelled at Division 2 over the years, that it's always the same candidates. But with 3 going up and the way the early season has shaped up, I mean, most, not all of the division clearly, but a lot of the division will be fancying their chance of sneaking in that top 3, won't they?
Yeah, I think so.
Morris to Hamid, that's defended, no run.
I think everyone, there's probably by the exception of a couple of counties, they probably set their goal at the start of the season to get promoted.
Yeah.
And that's great, because then it becomes really competitive. And Glamorgan are doing really well, which in previous years they probably haven't.
Derby as well.
Derby are doing really well. And then you've got these big clubs like Lancs and Middlesex, and even Sussex to an extent. Like, they're all first division teams.
Morris bowls, Hamid forward again, defending, no run. End of the over, 85 for 3.
Well, it's worth looking at the table. Middlesex in 8th place at the moment, 45 points. So they are 30 points, give or take, off the automatic slots at the moment.
Yeah, they've had a really slow start on the Middlesex.
Yeah.
I mean, it's his first season there, isn't it, Stuart Law?
Yeah.
And I think he's got a bit to try and sort out from from the bits and pieces I've read and heard. But you're right, I agree with both of you. I think it's fascinating reason too.
It's a very competitive
as well.
division, yeah. And even Middlesex got England players, or England players who have played in the last 12 months. And
I thought they were terrific here.
They were. I really did as well.
Yeah, I thought they're
a different class, really.
Big difference between the two sides. Here's Parnell, left arm round the wicket from the Diglis end. Livingston is forward again, bit edgy, but it's controlled out to Josh Dell at backward point, and there's no run, which makes their capitulation against Sussex. Couldn't believe that result when I saw it. Thought, how can they play so well here and be blown away as easily as they were there? But that's the way it goes, isn't it?
Exactly, and that's just cricket, I think.
Yeah.
That just it happens more often than you think, and sometimes you can have the best day, and sometimes you can have the worst day.
Parnell bowls, and this is another moral victory for the bowler, because Livingston was looking to work that through mid-wicket. Thick outside edge, it's gone down towards third man. It won't go to the fence though. Dell just about pulls it in time. So 2 more. Livingston is living a bit dangerously here. The rehearse is perhaps stroke that he should have played. Got away with that a little bit. That could have gone anywhere.
He's played quite aggressively.
He has.
He's come to the crease.
Yeah, he's not wandering, is he? 87 for 3 as he faces Parnell now. And covering up on about middle stump, pushing it back up to Ross Whiteley at mid-off. And there's no run. Livingston up to 34 from 52 deliveries. He's left Hamid in his slipstream a little bit. He's got 18 from 69. Actually got 4 4s and a 6, Liam Livingston. But if it's there, he's going to give it a go, isn't he?
He is, and he does that in all formats, I think. I don't think he changes much.
Here's Parnell, bowls to him, and he's on the drive again.
Well
Brilliant work. Ed Barnard, terrific stuff. Diving to his left, one-handed stop, that was travelling, and it bounced just in front of him. It sat up for him, and a goalkeeper-style dive to his left, and he's getting some well-earned low 5s. Callum Ferguson's come all the way from the slips to say well done. It was that good. I'll tell you about that later, no doubt, Ben.
No doubt.
Saw that all the way. 87 for 3. Stop 4 there. Here's Parnell. Party umpire and bowls on the drive again. Is Livingston? He's got that through though. That'll be 4. In between Dell and Barnard. Away it goes to the fence. 4 more. 5th boundary for Liam Livingston. Well, it's a one-man crusade here to try and get Lancashire past Worcestershire's first innings of 98. 91 for 3, and he's got 38 of them. 1 ball left of the 28th over. Worcestershire need to see the back of the former Lancashire captain here. Vessels at first slip, Mitchell at second, and Callum Ferguson in that sort of gully position. Quite a big gap between the fielder Mitchell and Ferguson. This one is drilled out to the covers again, no run. End of the over. 6 overs, 1 maiden, 2 for 17 for Wayne Parnell. Those 2 wickets came in his first 5 deliveries. 91 for 3. Light isn't great either, is it, Ben, now? That scoreboard's starting to stand out a bit more.
It's got dark. I wouldn't be surprised if the heavens open pretty shortly.
Yeah, tea is scheduled for 10 past 4, so in about 10 minutes time. Just past 4 o'clock. Yeah, it's got quite murky out there. Joe Leach is coming back into the attack, replacing Charlie Morris. And Sally Bentley-Reid is back with us.
I am. I was just thinking, after what Ben said earlier, what's going to be for dinner around at Ed Barnard's house?
I'm not sure.
Is he a good cook?
During the match?
Yeah.
Oh, I know. Leach is in from the New Road end to Hamid, who pushes that back down to mid-off, but there's no run as Whitey does the fielding. He's a good cook, is he?
He is.
Oh.
He is. I think that's why I go around.
Just go
I can't stand the guy, but he's a great cook.
His company's poor, but I'm hungry.
I'm hungry and he's good at it. So.
What you should do, Ben, here, have this. If it's steak, it's a ramp steak head. There you go. Is it ramp or fillet? That'll do. You can have that one. Update listeners to FM 4 o'clock. Well, Worcestershire hunting another breakthrough here, and they could do with one. Lancashire 91 for 3, so they're only 7 runs off parity here after Worcestershire were bowled out on day 1 for 98. And Liam Livingston, the former Lancashire captain, is the one doing the damage. He's throwing the bat at anything in his arc. He's got 38 off 55 deliveries with 5 fours and a big 6 over mid-wicket. Asib Hamid is a lot more measured. He has 18 from 71 deliveries. Jennings for 6, Davis for 24, and Rob Jones for 0. 2 falling to Wayne Parnell, who was momentarily on a hat-trick. Joe Leach taking Jennings out first for 6. Those are the wickets to fall. Lancashire nearly up to Worcestershire's first innings total now. They're 91 for 3. Yeah, so update for BBC Hereford and Worcester's FM listeners.
Leach in again from the New Road end up to the stumps, and once again big stride forward from Hamid as he lets that go through to Ben Cox, and just goes for a wander, does Hamid.
So do you know what his go-to dish is then? What is it?
He mixes it up. His signature dish is spaghetti bolagnese, and it is to die for.
Is it?
Yeah, it is really nice.
Does it come out of a jar?
No, all from scratch.
Really?
Yeah, he loves it.
What do you mean? Where do you surprise? Leach again to Hamid, and
We can do other things apart from just play cricket.
No, it's just time, because it takes time, isn't it?
Yeah,
that long to knock up a bolagnese.
Well, if he's been playing cricket all day today,
But as we were saying earlier, it's quite a good relaxation.
warm down, shower and all that by the
time.
time he gets home. I mean, it's, it's knocking on for 8, 9 o'clock. Turn around, start cooking something from scratch.
Just what he does. That's why I go around. He provides a service that no one else can. So
Leach to complete his over, he's in and bowls, and once again no run there. 91 for 3 at the end of the 29th over.
We are, of course, expecting you to fully name names, Ben. So who's the best cook in the Worcestershire squad is?
ooh.
Was that going to get into trouble?
This could get me into trouble.
It's right, none of them, they're all out there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we won't tell anyone. No one's listening.
No, I'll play it back. George Rhodes is good.
Is he?
Yeah, I live with him,
Right.
and I'm going to carry on living with him. I think
That's your choice there as well.
Yeah.
him and Barn are pretty good.
Very good,
They're against each other. I think George just gets it.
Okay. Parnell whips this one through, and it's similarly whipped down to fine leg all the way along the ground by Livingston for a single. 92 for 3. Have you sampled the cuisine of everyone else in the squad?
I reckon I've done a few.
Yeah.
Ollie Westbury's not bad.
Right.
He does a nice poke bowl.
What?
It's like some Japanese.
Ah, right.
Oh.
Okay. Right.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it is, but it seems to be his go-to every time I go around. And
Right. You say,
So you need
come
to
on,
ask.
Yeah.
change
Ollie,
it up.
come on, freshen up.
This is nice, but mix it up.
Parnell bowls. Hamid leaves alone outside the off stump.
Maybe buy him a
And there's
cookery
no run.
book.
Yeah, just
Subtle, something subtle, yeah.
some other Japanese cuisine, a ramen book.
Yeah.
But I reckon Cox is good on the barbecue.
Is he?
Yeah,
Right.
good on the barbecue.
Well, if you've asked who's the best, I think the next question is
Yeah,
who
we can't
who
drop
lets
Ben
themselves
right
down?
in it, can we?
I think it'd be me.
Oh, well, there you go. That's a
Really?
good answer.
Are you hopeless?
I'm not hopeless. I'm just.
Here's Parnell bowls. Forward comes Hamid. Defends back up the pitch and there's no run. Nice footwork from Parnell. 3 or 4 keepy uppies there before knocking himself a catch. 92 for 3.
What you need to say is you haven't learnt yet.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I think I have.
It's a work in progress.
I just eat. I cook to just eat. I can't take the time. It just goes straight in the oven, comes out straight in the mouth.
I hear
Not
you. I hear you there.
messing around
I
with
do.
how it looks, and no,
you don't want to frame it, do you?
No.
You're going to eat it. Parnell bowls. Hamid forward, defends out to cover. Barnard fields, and there's no run.
I think we're all thinking about food.
Yeah. It must
It's
be
a
a bit
pause.
hungry.
Yeah. When's tea?
It's nearly tea. We've got more cake to eat.
That's all.
I was
Yeah.
actually just looking around the field thinking, who's cooked me some food? And
Where do I want to go next?
Yeah,
What's
Moz
tomorrow
is good,
night?
Yeah.
but it has spag ball. He's a spag ball. Charlie Morris.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Parnell round the wicket bowls. Hamid leaves alone through to Cox, and there's no run. So in a bolognese cook-off, who wins?
I think Barn.
Is he?
Ed Barn's got tough.
Right. What's he got in his bolognese then?
I can't
Bailey's.
say it.
A secret
Bailey's.
recipe.
Secret recipe.
It's like Worcestershire sauce.
Yeah.
It's like
No one
KFC,
knows.
don't
Yeah.
go telling their secret recipes.
I'm going to join in the bolognese off.
You should.
I did one on Saturday.
See?
Then left it in the slow cooker, just really
Ooh.
get the flavour.
Slow cooker it.
Well, after I'd made
That
it,
is
transferred it
right,
to
yeah,
leave
yeah.
it there for later.
Yeah.
Professional.
Yep.
Here is Parnell bowls. Hamid forward, defends out to cover. Barnard again, and there's no run. I mean, I have
Bit of
tried
garlic
from
bread.
scratch, but the problem I find is it's just a bit too thin, too tomatoey. And then you put
No.
carrots in to take off the bit, and it becomes a
The
bit
what
too
bit?
carroty.
That's why you need to cook it down.
Do you?
Yeah, really.
I ain't
Yeah.
got time for
That well, exactly. That's
for that.
my whole
Doesn't
point.
take that long.
No time.
End of the over, 92 for 3 here on MasterChef.
Practice. Practice, Dan. Practice.
Yeah, I don't think I'll be going on that anytime soon. MasterChef.
Livingston has 39, Hamid has 18.
Livingston awaits Leach from this new road end and goes for the big cut shot and doesn't make contact with that. Cox is up to the stumps, but dribbles through to Mitchell in the slips. I think although Livingston's moved on to 39, he's not actually been timing it.
He's been a bit
out
edgy,
there,
hasn't he?
Yeah.
But fortunately for him, he's played one or two sumptuous shots, don't get me wrong, but
Don't get any edge on that as Leach up to the crease again, and he's driven that out through the covers, and that'll be 4 to Livingston as he did time that one.
I think that's
Dale
the way
goes
to
after
go
it.
as well. On some pitches that are tough to bat on, if you go out there with an aggressive mindset, you're probably going to get away with quite a few.
Yeah, just
Uh,
ride your luck a
Yeah,
little bit
ride
in
your
those
luck
early
as much
overs.
as you can, and then you probably get to, like he had 30-40 without really playing many convincing shots, but he's still there and he's got 40 more runs than him sat in the shed. So
Yeah, and we said they wanted to push the score on a bit if they're going to do anything in the game.
Yeah.
So Leach again bowls to Livingston, who defends this one back up the pitch with high arms.
7
No
fours
run.
and a 6 for Liam Livingston so far.
Yeah, he has got the 43 off 59, like you say, a couple of shots like the previous one, but not all of them timed today. Leach comes back to his mark, turns, makes his way into Livingston once more, bowls, and Livingston drives this down to Whiteley at mid-off, but no run on that occasion.
2 balls left, 2 balls before tea here on day 3. Wonder how many more of the scheduled 34 overs to go will get through.
Yeah, even sitting here, the light doesn't feel
Yeah.
great, just trying to, in terms of commentating on the game. Leach in again up to crease, bowls. Livingston defends that on the offside. Up to Barnard, no run.
But it comes to something when the brightest things we can look at, can see, are the scoreboard and the covered strip.
Yeah.
It's
With it,
like a bright sandy colour.
the matting, isn't it?
Yeah, the
It does
matting,
look like
yeah.
a sort of strip of, like you say, sand beach. That is always the telltale sign, isn't it? As you say, the scoreboard's catching your eyes. Although the one on the next to the Hick Pavilion is off. Leach in to finish the over. Where's that one gone? Short. Over to Cox behind the stumps. No run, so they make their way off for tea. 31 overs bowled in that first session, 2 hours after the rain delay coming on at 10 past 2, and Lancashire 96 for 3, just 2 runs now behind Worcestershire's first innings total of 98 all out. Lancashire is 7 wickets in hand though, as Hamid and Livingston make their way off, and the Worcestershire team just wait for each other.
Right, and as the players make their way off for tea, we'll have a little break as well. 96 for 3, replying to Worcestershire's 98 all out. So just 2 runs now needed for Lancashire before parity is restored, and then they can kick on and try and get a tricky lead as far as Worcestershire are concerned for the remainder of the day. Whether we'll get 33 overs, that seems a bit optimistic with the gloomy outlook at the moment across New Road, but as long as there's no rain, we should be back out in around about 20 minutes time. Great to have you with us, Ben.
Thank you for
Top
having me.
work, and we'll definitely see you again.
Yeah, absolutely.
And all the very best for your comeback from injury. We hope to see you well ahead of schedule if we can, but it won't be till next season sadly. But all the best to you, and we'll no doubt hear from Ben again very shortly. 96 for 3 then Lancashire at tea on day 3. We'll pick up commentary for the evening session in about 20 minutes time.